Hello everyone, and you're probably wondering, why are we in my kitchen? Well, this is just an idea that, my wife came up with. She's brilliant like that, and I love it. So, welcome to Dishin with Andy. That's right, Dishin, because I'm doing dishes, and we're going to talk to you while I do the dishes. This is the inaugural episode, you could say, the first one. Yes, I am sitting in front of the sink. There's the faucet. I installed this myself, by the way. Now I know why dads in movies are constantly cussing while they're under the sink. Not a fun job, especially if yours has been there for a while. So, what is this series about? What is this going to be about? So, let's face it, my video game review stuff, it's never really taken off anywhere big. I don't have the time to do the scripted content. And all the stuff we filmed last year that I showed in that little bit of a trailer, the rest of the footage, practically unusable. And it's a shame because there's a lot of great jokes in that too. I mean, just great jokes in that bit. We had, matter of fact, I'll show you in here. I'll clip them in. We had a Scott the Woz joke. I had a joke about eating at Bob Evans. And then there was a joke about, it wasn't really a joke, more of a gag, a kind of a gotcha thing. My cousin Fish, he was in the background cooking on the stove there, and you'll see this clip in a second, but you'll just be shocked. Anyways, we filmed that. We had a lot of fun filming it, and it was going to lead up into another Mission Impossible episode at the end. I was going to use a Microsoft, what are those things called? Not the iPods, but the Zune. I actually have an old Zune, a white model that I'd gotten for free from work, and I was going to actually use it in the filming of that, and it's just I'm a married man. I got stuff to do, so that is basically. Well, I'll just roll the clips right now. So first you'll see the Scott the Woz joke, then you'll see the Bob Evans joke, and then you'll see the little gag with him in there, and that'll be it. As far as the Game Loft games, they're okay. They're Game Loft games. That's all I can really say about it. I didn't grow up playing them. I played them when they were out. I was already an adult, and I enjoyed them. So, Anyways, I'll roll the clip now. Hey everyone, it's Editor Andy. Just a quick side note, you can tell how old this footage is if you look in the background of the video clips. It's the same kitchen, we've just made a lot of updates. Anyway, back to the show. These Game Loft Java games than me. Who knows more useless video game knowledge than me? Son of a... That's like if your waitress asked you if you want your food to have any flavor. No thanks, that's why I came to Bob Evans in the first place. It's the Bite Game Trials, another rip-off game. Game Loft reminds me of the movie studio Asylum. They like to take big budget movies and what the Okay, so not like tremendously funny, not going to set the world on fire, but we had fun making them, and I was hoping people would get the Scott the Woz music in there, which is actually from 3D Pixel Heroes, in case you didn't know that, but it's more synonymous with him, I think. Yeah, I do like his videos. They're fun, they're entertaining. Dude doesn't live too far from here. Would I like to collab? Sure, I'd like to have him come over here and dry with me. Anyways, so what I want to talk about today is the classic film Casablanca. And Casablanca is one of my favorite films. And I know that seems weird. I'm, for my age and everything, for a movie, from the 40s to be a favorite film. And why is it? Well, I grew up hearing about this film. And, and don't mind the water. You're going to hear that from time to time, so it's okay. So I grew up hearing about Casablanca, and, I never watched it. I knew who Humphrey Bogart was,
but I never actually saw him in any movies until, well, a little game called Fallout 3 came out. And the music started playing in there. And I don't know, it changed my worldview overnight, practically. I couldn't get enough 40s music. Still like to listen to it today. That's why I'm into vinyl, which I'll be talking about vinyl on here as well. I'd like to show off my vinyl record player. It's really cool. Anyways, so I was watching, I was playing that. I started watching all these old 30s, 40s movies. Film noir, really love film noir. Michael Shayne mysteries and things like that. Hadn't gotten into the Humphrey Bogart stuff yet. Till I was watching something about behind the scenes on Star Trek The Next Generation. And there was a mention of where they got the idea for Captain Picard's detective that he plays. And it came from the director being a fan of one of Bogart's films, or somebody that did something with the show. And that film was In a Lonely Place. So I got that film, In a Lonely Place, and I watched it. And instantly was hooked on the Bogart train. Started watching every Bogart movie I could get my hands on. I had almost every one of them on DVD at one point. And the granddaddy of all of them, the big Bogart film, this ain't the one that got him an Oscar. A lot of people would say maybe it's African Queen or something. I personally think Casablanca is some of his best work. The character Rick in that movie, which is Bogart's character, he's the typical selfish anti-hero, jaded guy that does the right thing in the end. And I think that's why it works so well. Great supporting actors, Claude Rains, Sidney Greenstreet. I can't remember all their names right now, Peter Lorre, all these characters. So if you haven't ever seen the movie, it is about, it's set during World War II, and it takes place in Casablanca, which I believe is in Africa. And in Casablanca, Rick, played by Humphrey Bogart, runs a nightclub. And he is an expat, which means he is an American that doesn't live in America. And it doesn't have to be American, it's just someone that doesn't live in their home country, I'll put it that way. As a permanent resident, not like visiting. Or actually, I guess, it could apply to laboring too. So if you're there temporarily, I guess you're an expat. Anyways, Rick can't come back to the States. I don't remember if they ever really say why he can't come back to the States. But he's there, and the regime in charge of that part of Casablanca is it's like French Morocco. That's where it is, Morocco, which is in Africa. I know Africa's a big place, but yeah. Anyways, it's the Vichy regime, which is basically controlled by the Germans, and he's really good friends, Rick is, with the head cop. And so, matter of fact, in one funny scene, the head cop, he comes in, and I believe he's played by Claude Rains. He takes gambling winnings illegally. It says he's going to hunt it down, figure out, it's a comical scene.
How can you close me up? On what ground?
I'm shocked to find that gambling is going on in here.
You're winning, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. Everybody out at once.
So anyways, Rick is really jaded because he got left by a girl at a train station. And this train station scene, it's in a flashback. Well, one night, her and her husband, she was married. The reason Rick was with her is because she thought her husband was dead. Well, she found out her husband was alive, and she went back to him. Anyways, she walks in with her husband. Her husband is high up in the resistance movement and against the Germans. And so she sees him, and Rick sees her, and he doesn't really want, he can't deal with it. and she asks the piano player, Sam, that's where the famous line, "Play it again, Sam," which actually isn't in the film, but that's where that comes from. She asks Sam to play As Time Goes By, which was Rick and her song. So, Rick and her, so Rick and her, like, you know, it really disturbs Rick. That was like their song together. So later, while Rick is in the bar by himself, it's like early in the morning, he asks Sam, he says, "Play it, Sam." He goes, "I don't think it's a good idea. She can stand it, I can stand it," or something to that effect. "Play As Time Goes By." Starts to play it.
What's that you're playing?
Oh, just a little something of my own.
Oh, stop it. You know what I want to hear.
No, I don't.
You played it for her, you play it for me.
Well, I don't think I can remember.
If she can stand it, I can. Play it.
Yes, boss.
Of course, she comes to visit him. And they kind of allude that they want to get back together and stuff, and she's willing to leave her husband for him, and there's all this intrigue going on there. And she tells him how she had to go back, and it's a little more complicated there. Get some German officers involved. I'm leaving a lot out. There's a scene where they go to see Sidney Greenstreet's character, and I can't remember exactly what his involvement in the film is. I haven't seen it in years, but I think he gets some like passports and stuff, and Peter Lorre's character is there too. I think, yeah, Peter Lorre gives Rick the passports that they need to get out of the country. Rick is going to use them for him and her if she wants to go and leave her husband for him. And at one point she's willing to do it, but Rick at the end of the movie changes his mind, and he tells her to get onto the plane because his work and her being with him is more important than those two being together. And, you know, it doesn't amount to a hill of beans, as he says. So that's at the very end, him and the policeman, who the head policeman, Claude Rains, helps them get away because they have to kill a German officer, and they both have to leave. And that's where the line, "This, I believe, is the beginning of a beautiful friendship."
Our expenses. Mm-hmm. Louis, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Comes from. It's a great film. Love it. I highly recommend it, especially if you like old black and white films. It doesn't really drag like some of them do. Like, don't get me wrong. I like Bogart's work. I really do. But some of his movies, let's see, The Big Sleep, that movie's just too long. It's too dry. He plays a detective in that movie. Or there is the film with Bogart. It was done by his Santana Productions, Beat the Devil. I have no idea what that movie's about. I've watched it and I was like, I can't tell you. But yeah, there's a lot of great Bogart films. Casablanca, for me, is some of his best work. Another one of the best work I really like with Humphrey Bogart in it. And he kind of plays the bad guy in it. And that is the movie The Cane Mutiny. Cane Mutiny is an amazing picture. It is about a boat that the captain is kind of going nuts, and they want to mutiny on the captain. And this is in like the Navy. It even has like an opening about how that's never happened in the history of the Navy. And Bogart's acting in that movie, I remember watching it. Fred McMurray is in that as well, which is kind of weird. I mean, you know, he's from My Three Sons, and so it just seems kind of weird to see him in this, but he does a great job too. But yeah, Bogart's scenes in that movie, which actually, if you ever watch Tron Legacy, the little Zen balls that the guy's rotating, I have to think it came from this movie, because that's what Bogart does in this movie. When he's being questioned, he's rotating those balls in his hand too.
Now, there's no need for that. I know exactly what he'll tell you. Lies. He was no different from any other officer in the wardroom. They were all disloyal. I tried to run the ship properly with a book, but they fought me at every turn.
And I mean, there's already Casablanca references in Tron Legacy, so I like to think it came from there. Yeah, Kane Mutiny is great. Another one that is a really good Humphrey Bogart movie is They Drive by Night. Now, he's not the main actor in this. This was early in his career. A man by the name of George Raft is actually the head actor in that movie. But it is about two brothers that are like shipping. They drive trucks by night, and it's really good. Better than you would think it would be. It's pretty good. I think Ida Lupino is in that. And for you women out there, Ida Lupino is like a trailblazer in cinematography at the time. I believe she was one of the first women directors or something. Great actress, great in this. She's also good. I think she's in High Sierra with Bogart. Great in that as well. Really good in that. But yeah, so Bogart films, I'm digging them. Left Hand of God is good. African Queen, of course, is good. That's what got him his Oscar. Katharine Hepburn is in that with him. Of course, the classic movie Sabrina with Audrey Hepburn. Oh my gosh, that's a great movie too. My wife does not really care much for Humphrey Bogart movies, but she will watch that one. She will watch that one. And if you like Sabrina, the remake with Harrison Ford and Greg Kinnear they did in the 80s, not that bad. Harrison Ford makes a good Bogart-type character in that movie. He really does. So I would recommend those too. I know I'm rambling more and more than I am just about Casablanca, but why not? This is Andy on Dishin, you know. Yeah, so I'm trying to think of some other great ones, and I'd have to look at a movie list. You know, there's some weird ones I saw, like one where Bogart was a detective, and this movie looks like they just made it for fun. He was trying to stop Nazis or something because they closed down his favorite cheesecake place. That one wasn't that good. Like I said, anybody can make a dud movie. Anybody can make a classic. It just depends if all the right pieces align. And yeah, so that's all I got to say about Bogart films in general. Love them. Check them out. And I think that's going to be it on Andy Dishin on this episode. This is the last dish I have. And my foot's kind of falling asleep in this chair. But yeah, so join me next time when we talk about who knows what. But I really appreciate it. Why don't you put down in the comments what your favorite Bogart film is, or your favorite film noir film, like, Where the Sidewalk Ends. That's a great film noir film. Film noir. Blade Runner, great film noir. I mean, it's a technology film noir. But yeah, why don't you put down in the comments what your favorite is, and tell me if you like this format of video. I do. I can get these out a lot quicker and a lot better. And, I can still add clips in like I did earlier and stuff. It does take some editing, but, I'm trying to learn new editing software and stuff. I'm transitioning to new platforms and things of that nature. But all right, everybody. Thank you for joining me and doing the dishes. Maybe you can come over and help me dry.